The other option is that you can use these online lessons by themselves in your own course. If you choose to do that, you can use whichever lessons you want. You can put them in any order you want. There's no lesson numbers or anything like that. If you're not teaching COMM1155, but you're teaching another communications course that has some of the same topics, you can use these lessons in that course because it doesn't identify the course title in any of the lessons. If you choose to use the resources, you would use them however you want. They do not score themselves if you import the lessons into your own Blackboard course, but the student still gets to do the practice exercises. And at the end, when it gives the score, instead of saying you can do it again to improve your score, it says you can do the lesson again to improve your knowledge. So the online lessons are accessible to you from your own Blackboard course. They're in something called Equella, which is called a Learning Object Repository. Basically, where you can store lessons or other things that might be used in Blackboard for learning. So here's how you get resources from Equella and put them in your own Blackboard course. From within your Blackboard course, go to Course Tools and scroll down to Equella Search. Right-click on Equella Search to open it in a new window. So now we're in Equella, which is not actually in Blackboard, but it's accessible from Blackboard. In the search box at the top, you can type in the term. So if you were to type in COMM1155, it's going to list a whole bunch of resources to do with COMM1155, and each one of those is a lesson. What I would suggest that you do is start by typing in COMM1155 space chunking. This will bring you to the PDF file that you can then download and print for yourself to see the complete list of lessons that are contained in the course and decide which ones you want and in what order and so on. So let's just say that you decide that you want to use the lesson on the writing process overview. So in the search box, you're going to type in COMM1155 writing process, and it's going to bring up a list of related items. So the top one was writing process overview. Let's click on that. That takes us to a description of this content, and you can see here the objectives of that lesson. Under links to resources, there is a link to that lesson, so click on it. The lesson opens, and what we want to do is copy this location. So click in the address bar at the top and copy the whole thing, and you can copy by just hitting Control-C. Now let's close this window and go back to the Blackboard course. So browse to that location, and then at the top of the page, put your mouse over Build Content and scroll down and click on Web Link. So once the course web link page opens, you type in a name for the lesson, and you can call it whatever you want. You can call it Writing Process Overview, you can call it whatever you want to call it. And then in the box underneath it, you're going to paste that web address that we just copied. So although this is a little complicated, I'm going to ask you to make a couple of changes to the link that you just pasted. First of all, near the end of the link, just before where it says COMM1155, I think, you'll find a number, and it'll be a 1, 2, 3, or something like that. I want you to replace that number with 0. Then closer to the beginning of the link, you'll find the word File. I would like you to change File to Items. By making that change, what will happen is that this will always link to the most recent version of the lesson. So if somebody sends me some corrections and I make them, then your course is automatically updated because it's always linking to that most recent version of the lesson. So then you're going to scroll down and set the other options. Do you want it to appear in a new window? Do you want it to be accessible or viewable by the students? Probably yes to both. And then click Submit. Now this lesson has been added where you wanted it in your course. So just using the lessons allows you to have some ready-made online resources, and you can choose which ones you want to supplement your own Blackboard course or your own in-class learning. So if you do choose to use either the online course as a whole or some of the online lessons, I hope that you find them useful. I think that if we can share the online resources that we're developing, then it makes it easier for everybody, and we can spend less time on that and more time actually working with and helping our students.